Awesome. Full body, peppery, spicy. This is the best. I mean, this is just this is outstanding wine. I'm Matthew Horkey. For the last 7 years, I've traveled around the world tasting thousands of wines annually in search of the most unique, exciting, and expensive bottles on the planet. My wine career actually started in some lesser-known countries like Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, ex-Yugoslavia, which of course includes this country, which is Slovenia. One thing you have to know, it's a tiny country, only 2 million people, right in the heart of Central Europe, borders with Italy, Hungary, Austria, Croatia, right in the crossroads between Western and Eastern Europe. There are some fabulous wines being made. I did a video called Slovenia Wines 101 where I laid out all the common facts, figures, the grapes that you find, some of the top producers. I'll put that in the link in the description box. The thing that I tell people is you gotta know Slovenia is kind of divided into two. It's a tiny country, you can drive all the way across in a couple of hours. But on the western side, they're more Italian style. They have a little bit more Mediterranean influence, even have olive oil. While you go a little bit more east on the border of Austria, Hungary, Croatia, it's a little more Austrian influence. White wines there dominate. You know, I'm currently doing a 7-week jaunt around Europe collecting content. I was in a competition in the south of Italy. I said, yeah, I'm heading up to Slovenia. I'm excited to go back to the country. And when I told some people that, they looked at me and they said, Slovenia, really? And I said, yes, really. I think Slovenia is an incredibly dynamic country. I think the quality of wine is super high. All small producers, not going to see a lot of big producers, therefore the wines are a little bit higher in price. But I'm telling you, these Central Eastern European countries that are a little bit less known, I really think Slovenia, Hungary, and Croatia are leading the way in terms of quality. And I'm here for the Belvin Vinska Škola, or Belvin Wine School little salon. It's in conjunction with the Decanter World Wine Awards. So these are all wines that have received a medal in the competition. Like most of these countries in Central and Eastern Europe, close to 3/4 of the production is white wine. And they're international grapes as well as a number of unique and interesting indigenous varieties. So I have a selection here I think that highlights kind of what's happening in Slovenia. I know the country really well. I've been to a lot of producers, I've been to every region, but some of these producers I didn't know. So that's really cool. I'll be tasting them for the first time with you. Let's get into the wines. First up, we have the Easton Ich. This is the #1 Brut. This is made out of some cool grapes. The grapes are, let me open this first, Rumeny Plavec, or Yellow Plavec, and Chardonnay. This is a champagne method sparkling wine. This is from a region that's really not highly known, right on the border with Croatia in the eastern part of the country. There's a lot of good bubbles happening in Slovenia, which I think is really cool. This is one of the well-known and well-respected producers. And it's very unique because it has this Yellow Plavec, which is a variety I'm not super common with. You see it in Croatia as well. I've never seen it as a variety wine. I've only seen it in sparkling wines before. It's kind of got an apricot, white peach type of flavor. It's not another boring sparkling wine. Sometimes sparkling wines can taste a little bit boring. You get a little bit of the yeastiness, not too much. Mouthfeel here is super fine. Bubbles are nice. The wine really has flavor. And that's my complaint with a lot of sparkling wines. Sometimes it can get quite boring. I think this is a good example. This is their entry-level wine. I think it's a great, great wine to check out at a lower price point. Really good example of what's happening in Slovenian bubbles. Next up, we have the Statera Shipoon. This is a brand new producer. I had just tried them for the first time. 2021, Shipoon is known across the border in Hungary as Furmint. So funny, actually the first Furmint I tasted was not Hungarian, it was Slovenian, to be honest. So this was a brand new producer. I think they only have one wine. Let's check it out. I feel like Shipoon or Furmint is a lot different in Slovenia than is Hungary. Hungary, it's grown in volcanic soils. Slovenia, it's not, but you get a little bit more grassiness. It's just pure grass, lime, basil. Furmint is a high-acid variety responsible for its main component in some of the great wines of sweet Tokaj. But the dry wines can be interesting too. Grass, I think of people that like Sauvignon Blanc are going to kind of like this style. Really high in acid, grassiness, mineralness. I really, really, really like this wine, actually a lot. Good stuff. I would just love to have this with some Thai mango salad. I think that would just hit the spot perfectly. Next up, we have another variety that's grown in Slovenia and Italy. There's actually more vineyards planted in Slovenia than Italy. This is the Biziak Rebula, or known as Rebula Gialla, nearby in Collio, Italy. Rebula Gialla, Yellow Ribbon, Raboula. A lot of the more expensive wines made of Raboula have skin contact or orange wines. Think Gravner, think Radicon in Italy. But you can make it with a little bit less skin contact. You can make it fresh too. It's a high acid grape. I think this saw 4 days, of skin contact. And Rebula Gialla just has this really Such a unique flavor. To me, I kind of almost get like a fish oiliness type deal. I know that sounds gross, but it actually is good. White apricot, earth chalk, really distinctive. This saw a little bit of oak, so you get some of the yogurt notes, not the oaky flavors. It's full bodied. And Raboula, what it has a lot of acidity, so it's going to make your mouth water, and it's textured. Really unique variety in terms of whites. I actually love it. I think it goes great with braised pork dishes. That's what my pairing of choice would be. Next up is this is a unique variety to Slovenia. This is the Animal Winery. Never heard of this winery before. Zelen, 2021. Zelen just means green. It's from Vipava Valley, right on the border. Vipava Valley is just so picturesque. It's like this corridor from Italy over into Eastern Europe into Croatia. Some really interesting grape varieties, Zelen, Pinella. This Zelen, I think, has a little bit of skin contact. It smells, this is such a confusing wine, but I like it. It's kind of got this white and yellow apricot flavor, some quince, some Asian pear type of flavors. I'm addicted to Asian pears. If you ever had one, they sell them all over the world. Get them. They have this nice sourness to them. Full-bodied white wine. Doesn't see a lot of oak. Zelen has this kind of like bitterness at the end. Some people might find that unattractive. I think it's quite cool. Wonderful wine. Again, a white wine that you're going to look to pair with some chicken or some pork type of dishes. Overall, the fresh whites here and the sparkling, I think, show exactly what Slovenia is doing. Next up, we have the Zaro Malvasia Pivo. This is an orange wine, a macerated wine, 2019. Sees time on the skin, so you're going to see a little bit more interesting yellow golden color. Malvasia Istriana, Malvasia Starska, whatever you want to call it. Malvasia, I'm sorry, is a grape that I think really does really well with skin contact. Awesome. The yellow flower, yellow peach, yellow apricot. A lot of times with these orange wines you get dried fruit flavors. This still has fresh fruit flavors, which I'm loving. Full body, peppery, spicy. This is the best. I mean, this is just outstanding. This is outstanding wine. If you like skin contact wines, if it's something you want to get into, I don't think it's tannic. It's super tannic and astringent. That's what drives some people away from orange wines. I think this is just really well done. Awesome wine, young producer. I've been following him since he's been starting. Really good stuff. Let's move on to the reds. Okay, Slovenia, I think, does especially well with Merlot, especially on the border with Italy, and Blaufränkisch, which they call Frankovka Modri, which it actually might be from Slovenia. They're trying to figure that out. Blaufränkisch, as it's known in Austria. I don't have an example here, but I think Slovenia actually does pretty well. I've found some really nice Pinot Noirs in the 10 to 15 euro range. This is a brand new producer, Vina Chuk, from Vipava. Again, Modri Pinot. That's what they call Pinot Noir in Slovenia. So, little blue. The Pinot Noirs in Slovenia are a little bit more denser, a little bit more riper. They're not super light and elegant. Pinot Noir has a different kind of spectrum. You can go the darker red fruits, you can go the lighter red fruits. This is a little bit more the darker red fruit play. So we're talking about a little bit more black cherry, red raspberry, earth, pepper. It just smells like a wine I want to drink. What is this? 2018. Beautiful light red wine. You can tell it's Pinot. It's a little bit riper. At this price, I think it's really hard to beat. Really good stuff. A lot of good producers, especially actually all over the country. In the eastern side, Vipava, the regions of Greece, Cabernet, you're going to find some nice Pinot Noirs, so check it out. Next up, we have the Gasper Cabernet Franc 2019. This won a platinum medal at the Cantor a few years ago. It's so funny because this region is not really known for Cabernet Franc. This country is more Merlot, but this producer has shown, he's a former sommelier, has shown that you can make some really nice Cabernet Francs here. Oh, it's really nice, really nice. It's so funny, last night I was at his wine bar and he did a trick blind tasting, 2018 Sassicaia versus a 2017 of his wine, the Cabernet Franc, and I told him blind, before, and everybody shocked before even we knew what the wine was, I said, look, this is a good wine on the right, which ended up being the Sassicaia, but I prefer my style is on this left side, a little bit more leaner, a little more linear. I thought it was maybe a young Bordeaux, maybe Pauillac, or because it was a little bit riper than Loire. And then when I smelled it, I was like, okay, I do get it's Cabernet Franc. So you're going to get black cherry, black olive. You definitely get that. You get a little bit of the green notes, but not a ton. Like sometimes it can be a little bit too leafy in the Loire. Exactly the type of red I want to drink. Medium bodied, focused, a little bit spicy. I think this is a heck of a wine. I don't know if you can get this in the U.S. I know it's available throughout Europe, and I think it's 25 to 30 euros. I think it's a steal at that price. Good wine. Good wine. All right, let's move on. Next, we have the Easton Ich Classic Rebula from Garisca border, right on the border with Italy, 2018. Across the border in Italy, it's a trendy variety known as Raboula Nero or Schioppettino, which is actually, getting a lot of press these days. Makes more medium-bodied red wines that I absolutely adore. And this is exactly what I expect Schioppettino tastes like. Red raspberry, pine, black pepper type notes. I sometimes compare Schioppettino, or in this case Cherny Rebula, to Nerello Mascalese from Sicily. This wine is like right up my alley. Medium-bodied red wine, peppery, juicy, just a little bit of tannin. Tastes like somebody that actually put some thought into it. Brilliant wine. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's move on. This is a producer I had no idea about. Brand new producer, it's called Brich. This is Refošk in the Slovenian part of Istria. Refošk is also known as Refosco del Pontecolo Rosso in Italy nearby. There's a few great producers. When Refošk is done well, I really think it can taste like Northern Rhone Syrah. The only problem is the acidity in this variety is quite high. The tannins can be quite wild, so it can be a difficult grape to tame. This does smell like Northern Rhone. Syrah, people think of a lot of blackberry, black jam, black pepper type flavors. But when you start to move in the Northern Rhone, for me, Côte Rôtie, especially Hermitage, they take on more red fruit type of flavors, which I get right here. A little bit of leather and just kind of like the savageness, these savage flavors. I don't even know how to describe it. Just like maybe these kind of twiggy type flavors that I get in Petit Verdot, I get in Syrah sometimes, or Refošk definitely. Big tannins, a lot of acidity. This is something you're going to want to have with steak. Super well done. Syrah fans, Syrah heads, I think you got to seek out really good Refošks because I think it's really good stuff. I like to support the underdogs of the wine world, to see people that are doing experimental things, trying to rise up, do the best that they possibly can. And I think Slovenia is there. Slovenia is outstanding. One of the most famous Slovenians in the sports world right now is Luka Doncic, from the Dallas Mavericks. I'm a huge NBA fan. But in general, if you find Slovenian wines, I think the quality overall is really high, and you should just give them a shot. Don't always drink the normal things. Go to these different type of countries, or come visit. I think here in Slovenia, the food and wines are really unique, and it's worth checking out. So let me know. Have you tried Slovenian wines before? Do you have any favorite producers? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks a lot. I'll see you soon.